348 people murdered this year in Baltimore, an alarming number, a significant increase from just over 300 last year. But city leaders and people in the community are hopeful for change. Candles burn as family and friends hold each other tight, remembering a loved one killed in Baltimore, an all too familiar sight. Hundreds of vigils over the last 12 months, nearly 350 people murdered in the city this year, the record 353 back in 1993. But at that time, there were 100,000 more people living in Baltimore.
People just get used to the violence, and we don't think much of it anymore because we're so numbed by it.
Reverend Slater is part of the Ceasefire movement. Every year on New Year's Eve, he gathers a group to remember each person killed, to acknowledge each one matters.
A name honors the individuality and the dignity of each person. And part of our tradition in the Episcopal Church is honoring and respecting the dignity of every human being.
Larry Matthews, 37.
The Ceasefire movement and Safe Streets are two organizations who have worked to stop the violence for years. Now, others in the city are taking their own initiative.
We tired! Put the guns down! We tired!
These are videos from events throughout the year of people who live here trying to make a difference on their own.
We all we got! We all we need!
They no longer want to rely on city officials or police to make the change.
We realize we have a long way to go.
Baltimore City Police Commissioner Michael Harrison took over earlier this year and implemented a crime plan in hopes to lower the violence.
It's not yet what we want. It's not yet where it needs to be. But we are getting indicators from people around town that they are seeing some changes in the level of engagement, the presence and visibility of police officers.
Harrison says they're working to add more manpower, training, and to make sure the caseload is appropriate. He originally shot down the idea of using a surveillance plane, saying there was zero evidence it worked. Then a switch this month. The Eye in the Sky will launch in the spring for a pilot program, funded by the Arnold Foundation and not taxpayers. The city is also getting state and federal funding in 2020 to help combat the crime. Just last week, the Justice Department announced Baltimore was one of 7 cities in a new program called Operation Relentless Pursuit. The agency is committing up to $71 million to help fight violent crime. As of today, Baltimore's homicide clearance rate is nearly 32%, compared to the last year's 43%.